Hello and welcome. My name is Will Dawson, and this is a series of videos that continues Matthew Marquitte's most excellent series of tutorials on Construct 3. At this point, if you're in my class, you'll have done everything up to this point, and we're going to make some destructible walls at this point. So, as you can see in my tutorial here, the level that I've built starts in this upper corner, and we're going to navigate down here past some enemies, picking up some coins. There's our first checkpoint. We have to get across the abyss here where we can fall through. This platform moves back and forth, of course. Here's our second checkpoint. We've got some jump through platforms. Over here is where I'm going to install my destructible walls. So we'll have to, once we get to this point, we're going to be able to hit those and knock them down and get through to the additional enemies here, go up through the jump through platforms and to the finish of our level. Now, I'm not going to build the destructible wall at this point right now. I'm going to build it over here where my character starts, just so that I don't have to navigate the entire level to test whether my destructible wall actually functions the way I want to or not. So I'm going to start by inserting a new object here. It's going to be a sprite. Right about there. And we'll open this up. And so, let's see. Here is all my sprite assets from, this is from the Craft Picks free swamp tiles set. So I'm here in the tiles section, and I'm looking for, let's see, I probably passed it. This is the one. Tile 31 here has edges on all the sides, as opposed to a tile like 25 where it only has the edge on one side and it's just solid dirt the rest of the way around. So I'm going to use tile 31 because that is the flavor that I'm looking for here. So we'll zoom in on this. We can delete these midpoints off of our, we're looking at the collision here. So in general, your game is going to run smoother if you have the simplest version of everything that you need to have. So I'm going to pull these collider points all the way to the outside edges and outside corners rather, and that looks good. So I'll just close that down. And there is our block. Notice that it is the same size. Because it was one of the tiles that we built the level out of initially, it has the same look, feel, and size as the rest of the level. Your destructible wall doesn't have to be like that. I kind of wanted it to look like the rest of the terrain, so that's why I chose this tile. You could pretty much use anything for a destructible wall, but that is what we're going to use here. So let's get it to do some stuff. The first thing we need to do is add to its behaviors here. The first thing that we need to do is actually name this bad boy. Here it is. It's called Sprite. Let's get that fixed. Let's call it Destructible Wall. And you may have noticed that when you name things in Construct here, if you leave a space, Destructible Wall like that, when you hit Enter, it will give you this warning: invalid characters were removed. The space was the invalid character. Notice it says Destructible Wall with no space right now. So, yeah, if this unnerves you, then having that, just get used to writing the names with no space and you'll be better off. Okay, so we've named it. Here it is. Let's add the behavior of it being solid. We don't want to be able to walk through it. So there it is. And now it shouldn't have, we haven't added any behaviors that make it affected by gravity or anything. So it should just hang there in the air. Let's just test that real quick. Okay, so when I run forward, I run smack dab into it. I can jump on top of it. When I hit it, nothing happens. That is exactly what should be the case so far. Okay. So in order to make this thing actually be destructible, basically what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into an enemy. We've already got this enemy programmed in the event sheet so that it needs to be hit a certain number of times, and then it will destroy itself. We can make the destructible wall work exactly the same way. So if we have a look at our zombie here, my zombie. So we have a couple of instance variables on it. The patrol allows it to walk back and forth. That's what helps us keep track of which direction it's facing. Our destructible wall is not going to need that instance variable. The zombie also has 3 hit points. You have to hit it 3 times to get the win on that. And that is the exact same thing that we want to have on our destructible wall. So let's add an instance variable there. I'm going to do exactly what I did with the zombie. The zombie was called capital H, capital P, HP, and I gave it 3. I'm going to do the same thing here. Let's add an instance variable. I'm going to call it HP. It's going to be a number, and I'm going to give it an initial value of 2 just for a little variety. Okay, so it now has its instance variable HP of 2, just like our zombie enemy has an HP of 3 instance variable. Now let's go over to the event sheet and program it to actually receive the hit when we hit it, and to check to see if it has gotten down to 0 hit points. So this is actually really easy. We can take event number 23. Mine is event 23. Yours might not be event 23, but it's the zombie on collision with a slash is going to have all this stuff happen. We can just duplicate this entire thing and swap out the zombie over here and the block on both sides of it. So we're setting the zombie timescale to 0. Our block is not moving, so we don't need to do any of that timescale stuff with the block. But let's just take this thing and let's copy as text is not what I want. Copy as text. Copy. There we go. And then down here, we will paste. So there is a perfect duplicate. So in the zombie on collision with slash, let's change this one down here. We don't want the zombie to be on collision with slash. There we go. So I can just back up through here, back. We're going to have this be the destructible wall on collision with, there it is, collision with another object. And that is going to be the slash. Done. Subtract 1 from HP. The block already has it, and let's see. Do we want to change the color? Yeah, we may as well change the color. The color of the block right now, if we click on the destructible wall, the color is 255, 255, 255. So let's set the color. Let's see, that was going to be bright red. Let's see, double click. So we're going to have the destructible wall set color. That'll be red. Done. And now, let's see, let's just get rid of the timescale thing. Delete that. We can wait 0.1 seconds. Let's delete the timescale back. So we need to make sure that we're not subtracting from the zombie and that we're setting the color. All of this zombie stuff, double click, needs to be the destructible wall. HP, subtract 1, and here, back, destructible wall, set color, and here we're going to go 255 all the way across to set it back, comma, 255, 255. Okay. Done. Okay. And then we also had, let's see, where was it set? So the zombie, if the HP is equal to or less than 0, destroy the zombie. So once again, we can, we need a similar event to destroy our destructible wall. This is only one item on each side. I'm just going to make a new one. So destructible wall. Let's see, compare instance variable, I think was it. So we come down to the instance variables, compare instance variable. The HP is less or equal to 0. Then, let's see, was that a system command? Destroy. Nope. I'm going to say destructible wall. Destroy. Okay. So let's test it. We've got two things happening. It should be destroyed after we hit it 2 times, and it should also blink a bright red color when we hit it. So here is our game. Step forward a little bit. Smack. Ooh, change the color. Man, it's weird that it doesn't get back to the original color. It does blink, and it does go away when we hit it again. I like that. So, good enough. I kind of... it totally was a mistake that the color gets so weird after you hit it once, but I'm kind of digging it. I like that. I might decide to fix it later, but for right now, I like how it's acting, so I'm going to leave it. So what I need to do now that I have that is I want to put it in the correct place. So let's see, way down over here. I want to make sure that the placement is absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna get a little nerdy with this. I'm gonna go back to my tile map. And I'm going to paint in just a block of something. Let's see. May as well take the exact same block here and stick it right above. I'm just going to erase that in a second. Right now, I'm just using it as a visual reference so I can line up my bottom one. Go back to my arrow tool and grab my new destructible block, right? So the top one here is drawn into the tile map, and the bottom one is actually a sprite I can move. So I'm just going to get it as close as I can to perfect. And then I'm going to look over here. The position is 512.088. Well, obviously I'm off by 0.088. This one, 191.9 something. That should be 192. That's what I'm actually close to. So in order to make this perfect, give yourself a visual reference point, and then get it as close as you can. Then you can come over here and get the numbers perfect. So 512 point nothing and 192. And when I click out, you'll see the block kind of like jump just a fraction of an inch. So 3, 2, 1 jumps a little. You saw it wiggle there. Okay. Now if I click away from it, those look brilliant. The top one isn't the real destructible block. So let's go back to the tile map. Tile map. There we go. And erase that top one. And we'll use the bottom one, which is now placed perfectly, as a reference. To get another copy, I'm going to drag this out of the top here and get a second one. So both of these can get destroyed. Let's see, the bottom one, its X was 512. So the top one has to be 512 as well. And it looks like 160. That's pretty close. Okay. So now we've got 2 of those. It's completely blocking the entire way through there. Let's see if I can actually not die. Have to get all the way over there. Be nice if I could smack that zombie off into the abyss or something. Okay. Oh! This is why I didn't have to, why I wanted to have the block to test right up at the beginning. In the end, you want to make sure everything works where you, I'm no good, where you put it. But you can save yourself the headache that I am currently having. I keep hitting that, bumping my head on that part as I try to jump. So, I don't know. If that bothers me too much, I'm going to have to adjust my level instead of getting some skills at playing video games here. My jump is just not working right there. The game cheats. I'm gonna cut this off so you guys don't see how bad I am. Okay, at last I'm here. Get my coin. Smack. Got them both. Notice because the arc of my axe pokes forward in a it swings this way. I'll bet I can get a chip out of just the one in front of me and not break the one on top. There we go. Okay, so that works fine. I suppose in the same way that when we made the zombies, they make a little mud splash when they die. We should have this thing make a little mud splash when it dies, when the destructible walls go. So let's go back to the event sheet. Actually, let's close that window just for everything to work right. Okay, event sheet. So let's see. Oh, I haven't done this. So I've got this mud splash. I meant to have my zombie make a mud splash. So we'll have the, I'm going to do this for both of these. It just gives it a little bit more of a visual representation. So I'm going to add an action first to the destructible wall here. I'm going to have the system create an object, and that's going to be the mud splash. Okay. And that's going to go at destructible wall dot x and destructible wall dot y. Done. And there we go. Okay, I'm going to have it do that before destroying the... really, they happen so quickly, it's almost instantaneous, but just as a good habit, you don't want to refer to the position of something that is going to be gone when you actually refer to its position. So there's that. Let's do the exact same thing when the zombie is destroyed. So we're going to go system. Let's see, add an action, the system, create an object, mud splash, and this is going to be zombie dot x. I don't know why my browser is doing that. And zombie dot y. Done. Reset the weirdness here. There we go. Okay. And I think that's as much as we need to do with this. Let's just test it to make double sure. So we should see a mud splash. Same when I jump, you see that mud splash when I land right there. So let's get chop, chop, and we should have a mud splash. Good. Just to give some kind of a visual representation that it just seems too weird for something to suddenly not be there. I'm going to drop another destructible wall in front of me here so I don't have to run the level and fall 17 times. chop, and mud splash, chop. It gives a little representation that something disappeared right there. So I don't need this one. I'm going to delete that. But there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made ourselves some destructible walls. One more thing off of our checklist. Of course, these are really obvious, but it could just as easily be that maybe these two tiles were left blank in the same way that we left blank spaces down here for the abyss. Maybe these are actually blank tiles as well, and you have the graphic that we have painted in here that are these tiles as a destructible wall that would allow you, if you broke them, to move through into another part of the level that you couldn't normally see. So you could have hidden walls. This is a really obvious one. It doesn't have to be obvious. The mechanic works the same whether it is visually hidden or visually really obvious. So that's all. Hope you are doing well. Ask me if you've got any questions, and I'll go on to the next one. Thanks, guys.